Hey there, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today I'm going to show you how to do a cathedral window tag. And as a bonus, I'm going to show you a new way to put it into our journals. So, ever wonder what to do with all those divots or the thumb pulls that you punch out? That's what I did here. So, what we need to do is I've got some scrap paper to create some divots from. And then you can see here that I've cut a 1.5 inch square from several materials. And that's going to become the bottom or base of our piece. And here's where I just made a grid. I went and started and did a 1.5 inch apart and on both sides. And I tried to start with the two corners being the equidistance. Or as I did it, I just put like one of the corners down here, or the squares, and went from here to there with the first line. And then I followed suit with 1.5 inches each time. So let me get to punching out a few of my divots. And then I'm going to put my squares down on my board, and I'll show you where I'm at from there. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm almost finished, but I thought I'd show you how I do finish the edges where you don't have a full square. And what I'll do is I'll go in and just fill it with the glue, and then I'll put in my piece. You don't have to do any inking here because this is not going to be seen. These edges are going to be covered by each one of the divots. And then where it wasn't big enough for me to put in a full piece, I'll put in a little square. And then I think I need one little square right there. And maybe one down here. And these are all the little cutoffs from my other pieces that I'm adding here. But that just gives you a clean edge. I don't know if this edge is going to be totally kept, but it probably will. So let's get in there and we'll trim it down. And the pieces of the pretty rose is Stamperia. I wanted something really attractive to put on here for the base of my quilt itself. Make sure all your little pieces are down. And now I got to get in here and start making some divots. And what I'm going to try to do is go along the outside edge. And I don't want my divot to be too big. It's only got to be big enough for like 1.5 inches, 1.25 to 1.5. All right, let's see what we got there. We'll just cut us a few, and then I'll show you how I go about it. You might have to go around and fix you some extra flat areas as you get this nipped out to start another row of divots. I did do one where it was a bunch of divots that were already punched out, and that was sort of hodgepodge, but it was cute. And then I'm going to do some of this because I'm going to contrast. I'm doing this on the pretty rose one, and I'm going to do the pretty rose one on the tan background. So I've got a variation going. And that didn't get done on the other one, so I think this will make a very big difference in attractiveness. I hope everybody is doing well today. I wanted to say hi and how much I appreciate you coming to visit and to see what I've got on my craft table. Let me just lay that over there. All right, now what I'm going to do is get with putting these down. Now you can ink them if you want, which it would probably be good, but I'm not going to this time. I'm just going to go for a nice, pure, clean look. And what I'm going to do is start right here and put that on the tan. And I'm going to go around that first square and do that completely. And that sometimes you might run into one that's a little too big. In some cases, you can cover that up with the one beside it or the one opposite, but you can trim it off if you'd rather. Just depends on how you want to go about it. I'll put that one here. And then, let me show you. Let me do one more here. Well, let me finish that whole square. I'm sorry, I'm wishy-washy. I'm just trying to get a completed look so you kind of have an idea. And then I'll put you on pause so I can finish it. And you won't have to suffer through all the gluing. Okay. Everybody seems to love anything to do with quilt squares. Now this is not exactly a square. This is actually a, well, I don't know what you'd call it. It's a handmade quilt because I have done one myself. And it is done with muslin, and you hand sew the square out of muslin, and then you have little squares themselves that are the pattern, and you sew those in by hand, and you pull the muslin around. I'm telling you, it is tedious, but and then if you see a cathedral window quilt bolster pillow, you usually see a bolster pillow. They're pretty pricey. Pretty pricey. Okay, now in this case it may be beneficial to ink. It just depends on how you would like to do it, because it may make it stand out better. Do one more, and then I'll hold it up and let you see a close-up of it. I have got to do that more often. Now, there we go. All right, now see how that looks? You've got the one over the rose, and then over the tan square you'll have a rose all the way around, or whatever you want to call that, music rose. All right, let me put you on hold, and I'm going to finish filling this in, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we've got that done. The whole thing is covered. I went in and rounded it with the 7mm cutter and rounded all my corners. That's done. I've also made a little triangle to go on the back, and that will be for a little hanger. And you'll see where that comes in just a minute. So I was going to show you that it's not very delineated. So if you would rather go in and ink, you can, or you can go in, if you have like a marker, I've got a Zig Photo Twin Photo Safe marker. I've had this thing for ages. But anyway, I thought I'd show you where you could go in and shadow. It's just a very gentle kind of a shadow, and you can get a little bit more out of your square that way. It doesn't drop away and disappear, but just a few little marks. Now my other one, I went with a black one, and you can see how bold that is. But if you didn't like a bold look like that, this works great. And it could be with any kind of a marker, just something that's going to give you a little variation. I wasn't quite happy with choosing not to ink, so I decided to do that, and just that little bit kind of helps. Now I'll show you what we're going to do next, which I had a paper button. I don't have any of those, but I do have a stamp, and I think that's maybe where this come from, where it's close enough. And I don't want to go in with black. That's going to be too bold. So we're going to go with a archival ink potting soil. So let's see if I can hit the center. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to. These are old type of stamps and are kind of hard to get in the center, but let's see if I can measured up to the outside edge. Oop, not bad. Not bad. And see, it's a very gentle variation. That brown goes with the brown trim that we've got on this part of the square. Let's see if I can get it in here. I wanted it in the major places that I had it in the other. I thought it would be cute to have a little button in there. Now you can actually go in with a real button if you wanted to. And that's what I basically have, nothing but small buttons. I don't know what happened to all my big buttons. I guess I used them all. And it's hard to get a container of buttons that works the way you want them to. Now that was a little off. Whoopsie. But it's that one's such a patterned piece. I don't think you'll notice it. So we're going to go and be done with that. And you can see how it kind of turns out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and do my crossovers. Like I did with this one, where I've got all the pink. I'm going to go in and do my pearls. But I'm going to put you on hold for that so you don't have to suffer through it. Hold on. Okay. Not only do the pearls give a cute pin-tucked look to the quilt, I'm calling it a quilt, it also will hide any nasty little crossovers that didn't come out too clean. So that's got a dual purpose to it. All right, so we're going to take our piece here, take it to the back, and put it right at the top. It doesn't have to go completely across. Its purpose will be foretold in a minute. Ooh, if I can glue straight. There we go. All right. Let me get this on here as well as can be expected. You can still write on the back of this tag. I haven't completely covered it. Plus, I've used a light colored tag topper, whatever you want to call that. That can be written on. So, there we go. Now, I'm going to take and show you how it's going in your journal. And what we're going to call this, and I probably should go all the way across, but I'm calling it a clothesline belly band. It's very small, and several of them together will make it extremely strong. And I forgot to get several of them. Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue that to the next piece down, because we want it to be strong enough. Because it's so thin, I thought this would be the best way to go about it. And get it to lay on top of each other, nice and straight. You squeeze the sides and squeeze the top, and we'll get it going. Then we're going to do another one. Go back in here first and trim that part off, because I've got it just about the width that it needs to be. And go in here, get it straight, get it secure. And then we're going to go over it to cover the white core with a little bit of ink. I'm using espresso, ground espresso. Now you could go in with an alcohol marker to cover your side. But I have ink available right at me, so I'm using that. Okay. And the alcohol marker would make a nice bold brown edge, but that suits our purpose. Okay, now all you're needing to do here is do a nice big place on either end and put it down. Let me move it over so you can see it better. Go with the outside edge first. And it could go over to the signature or the spine area. I don't think that would hurt here. It's very narrow. And then, yep, I think I got it just right. So what do you do with your quilts when you clean them? You hang them on your clothesline. Let me see if it's dry enough to hook it on there. And there she is. Our little quilt is blowing in the breeze. Isn't that cute? Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and give me a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe, give me some likes, and follow me so you can see some more goodies like this. Thank you very much, and y'all have a great day.